Well, Peterson fouls it off, 1-1. Jock over his last 18 games hitting .326, including 3 home runs on this road trip.
Really seems to be more consistent with that swing. Seems to have found something. You know, they were asking him about him hitting 3 home runs over his last 3 games. He talked about, oh, I'm finally getting some lift, but I don't think that's a conscious effort. He's been just having a better swing.
Wanted time and then decided to play on and took a pitch outside, 2-2. The 4-hit night on Saturday in Denver, followed that up with a home run on Tuesday night in this series. Making the start today and left. On a 2-2. Lifts one down the line to right towards the foul pole, and he started this game with another bomb. Jock Peterson has come alive, his 4th home run of the road trip, and they start this finale with a bang against Tyone.
Well, when you hear your starting pitcher get scratched and you know that your bullpen has been throwing a lot of innings, say, hey, we're going to support you today. That's the way to start it.
Came into the road trip 1 home run on the season, and he's hit 4 on the trip. Strike 1 on Max Muncy.
Just gets a fastball right in the middle of the plate. Talk about the consistency of his swing. Early on in the season, when we saw him just kind of still, once again, kind of tinkering and trying to find it. That ball, the mistakes that the pitchers were throwing, he wasn't necessarily squaring them, he was fouling them off. And there, now what we've seen over the last 18 games as we show the stats, the mistakes, he's capitalizing on them.
Muncy with a pop-up. That's the third baseman, Moran, shifted over there to catch it. Actually, Mercer, shortstop, is on the right side. 1 away. Up comes Grandal. Dodgers a Major League best 14-5 over the last few weeks after they sat at 16-27. Pirates have headed in the other direction. They were in first place in the Central with a 26-17 record. That was the 2nd best record in the National League at that point. But since then, 4-13. That's the worst record in baseball. 1 ball and 1 strike. One nothing in the first, and Grandal. It's a little dribbler. Elias Diaz. 2 out. How about the night Matt Kemp had last night? How about the trip that he's having so far?
How about the year that he's having so far?
That too.
I mean, obviously we're breaking it down with just this road trip, and the road trip has been incredible. But really, when you just look at his entire body of work over the course of this season, you mentioned it, Joe, earlier, that MVP candidate, at least for so far in this season, without question. I mean, just leading the league in so many offensive categories. Batting average, runners in scoring position, batting average, runners on base.
Slugging. Takes a strike. Last night 3 hits, including a home run, drove in 5. You know, if MVP voting was today, he's not going to win it. But he would receive votes, and that is a significant thing when you consider where he was a few months ago. On this 1-1 from Tyone, cuts and misses, 1-2.
I mean, watching him yesterday, it just seemed like anytime they threw the ball near the plate, he was squaring it up, hitting it hard.
Strike 3 over the inside corner. Tyone goes 1-2-3 after Peterson leaves the building to open the day. Daniel Hudson gets ready to go on a bullpen day But the bullpen day begins with a 1-0 lead thanks to Peterson's 4th home run of the trip. Start. Pirates coming to bat with this lineup presented by 76. Been a good series for Josh Harrison. He leads it off. Gregory Polanco in right hitting second. And center field Starling Marte with Josh Bell back in there today at first. Corey Dickerson in left. Colin Moran at third. And Diaz doing the catching with Mercer hitting eighth. For Daniel Hudson, it's his first start since he made a spot start for the Diamondbacks in 2015. But a late addition into that lineup as the starter with Dennis Santana getting scratched while throwing his warm-ups. 3 games in this series and 3 appearances for Hudson. Who buzzes Harrison with his first pitch of the day. Hudson gave up 2 runs last night over 1 1/3. And threw 26 pitches. He threw 13 pitches the night before. 1-1.
Yeah, he gave up those 2 runs and they were unearned. There was that play where Muncy kind of bobbled the ball a little bit and then he threw to second and ended up going off the helmet, trying a possible double play. They kind of scored 2 runs after that.
Kind of a snapshot of that game last night, huh?
Yeah.
1-2. It was not pretty.
Obviously a lot of runs scored when you see 11-9, but both teams having more runs than hits. 16 walks altogether. Dodgers had 10 walks by their pitching staff. 3 hit by pitches.
Now those 10 walks issued were a season high. Hudson to Harrison. A pop fly. Bellinger watches reach the seats. Josh Harrison started the scoring yesterday with a bases clearing double against Caleb Ferguson. And there was some discussion about how quickly Dave Roberts had taken Caleb Ferguson out of that game at just 57 pitches in the second. But Dave noting afterwards that it had a lot to do with the pitch count in that 1 inning. He knew that Ferguson hadn't thrown anywhere close to that in an inning yet this year. Didn't want to leave him out there any longer than that. He was at 39 pitches in that inning when he took him out. Kemp catches this fly ball. Harrison the first out.
Yeah, Dave Roberts just obviously knew he was going to get those questions. We even talked about in the middle of the game that he's going to be asked, what was the thought process between pulling out Caleb Ferguson when you know that your bullpen has been taxed so much, especially on this road trip, and you're trying to get some length out of him, and he was great. Tells you right there. He goes, hasn't thrown more than 39 pitches in an inning. I was worried about him, and also trying to do that to him at this level. He also let Caleb Ferguson know when he went to go talk to him.
1-0 in the first inning. Gregory Polanco looks at ball 1. Started a trickle-down effect, though, where the bullpen had to throw 6 1/3. And the bullpen will have to throw every inning today. So they're going to finish the road trip having thrown either 37 or 38 innings, assuming this game is regulation. 37 or 38 innings in a 6-game stretch. And no off days. Traveling home tonight. The Braves and their talented team in tomorrow. Hudson to Polanco, 1-1. Polanco corks one down the line. Foul, strike 2.
And the bullpen usage, we can see the effects it's going to have on the Dodgers short term. But it's really going to, this is something we're going to look back long term, maybe down the stretch toward the end of this season, when we may be hearing guys maybe dealing with some fatigue, or we already had Cingrani go on the deal early on the season with a dead arm. See if that factors into some guys in the bullpen with the increase in usage.
Two and two. Cingrani placed back on the disabled list today. Dave Roberts saying he's not sure if it's related to that dead arm you're mentioning, but it was a different feeling. Didn't have any kind of sharp pain when he was dealing with a dead arm. And last night, unfortunately, Tony Cingrani felt sharp pain in the back of his shoulder. So they're going to get some testing done. Two balls and 2 strikes on Polanco. Hudson ready. Here he comes. Just misses.
It was a really good pitch by Daniel Hudson. Started at the bottom of the zone and it just barely tailed out of it. A very similar pitch that I know was a breaking ball, but as far as location, that they called Matt Kemp out on.
So now payoff, and he turns this one on the around in the air to right center, where Matt Kemp will put it away for out number 2. A different look in the outfield today. Hernandez in center, Peterson sliding over to left. Kemp making those first 2 plays in right, with the Yasiel Puig getting the day off. 2 out. Here's Starling Marte.
You say the only position player in the same position as last night's game when that started is Chris Taylor. You had Muncy at first. He's over at third. You had Forsythe at second. You got Valera there. Bellinger was in center. He's at first. Austin Barnes started catching.
Yeah. Yeah, it used to be that you'd have like that one guy that
the utility
kind of the
guy.
Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, like Kike Hernandez, who plays everywhere. You're like, okay, maybe get 1 or 2 guys. They have especially a day game after a night game.
It's everybody now.
Well, everybody. Still, some guys got the day or didn't start.
Sure.
I'm not saying getting the day off, but are not in the starting lineup, but not in the same position.
Hudson looking for a 1-2-3 first inning. He's got it. Called upon just minutes ago to make his first start since 2015. win over performance spotlight. He's homered in both games in this series.
We know the struggles that Cody Bellinger has been dealing with. And not the home run last night, but the one before, when he hit that ball to center field. That's what we're talking about. Say, okay, is that turning the corner? Listen, one swing isn't necessarily just snapping you out of a slump, but it's definitely a good sign. I really like that it was driven to center field as compared to him usually pulling the ball and pulling off the ball. Now, the one he hit yesterday, when he pulled it, that was fine. That was an off speed. We even saw him go down on one knee to stay on the ball, try to keep that bat on the same plane to drive it and hit it out.
Behind 0-2. Takes this one high. He also walked twice yesterday, which is something you weren't seeing a ton of during his rough patch. Looks like Scott Alexander will be next after Daniel Hudson worked to 1-2-3 first. 2-2. Dodger offense on this road trip, 47 runs in the 5 games. The Peterson home run in the first inning was their 15th in 6 games. The 2-2 drops in for strike 3. Second K for Tyone, and one gone here in the second.
Well, Tyone has a couple breaking balls. He's got a curveball and a slider. It used to be curveball and changeup. He's been staying away more from the changeup and has incorporated a slider. That was the curveball there. Just a few bullpens ago, a few starts ago, where he started just kind of messing with his slider and has confidence in it, and it's been really effective.
Chris Taylor cuts through a fastball, strike 1. It used to be mostly fastball from Jamison Tyone, and that's the case with a lot of the pitchers in this Pirates organization. He's good buddies with Garrett Cole, who the Pirates, of course, traded to the Astros. Charlie Morton is a former teammate here with the Pirates, now on the Astros, and still talks with those guys a bunch and has incorporated some of what they've applied as Astros into what he's doing here with the Pirates. Now, the Pirates lead baseball in fastball usage. Garrett Cole and Charlie Morton now pitching on a staff where they don't throw nearly as many. And he's incorporated that here, kind of going against the grain with the rest of his staff, decreasing that fastball usage. A lot more breaking stuff.
And also that average has gone up when you look at Trevor Williams yesterday. I mean, he came in, he threw 73% fastballs, but it was also 2 types of fastballs. He had a 4-seamer and a sinker.
Strike 3 called on Taylor. That's 3 in a row for Tyone.
And Tyone also has a 4-seamer and a sinker as well. So when you have 2 pitchers in your staff who really rely on those types of pitches, then you can see how those numbers go up. But obviously, he's going out there looking and say, okay, it's not always just fastball, especially when you know that the scouting reports in the opposing team, you're looking for the fastball. You're sitting on it, and you're going to try to take advantage of that.
Breivik Valera takes ball 1, and they still think that Jamison Tyone is a legitimate ace-type pitcher. And look at what he did his second start of the year. Complete game, 1-hit shutout. You mentioned what he did Friday in St. Louis. 8 shutout innings, just 3 singles. He's just not quite hit his stride yet. His 3rd major league season. Again, the 2nd overall pick in 2010 out of high school in Texas. Valera hits a little pop fly to Mercer at short. And the Dodgers down quietly here in the second. Off and rolling in this series finale. It's 1-0.
all new franchise mode, and much more. RBI Baseball 18 is available now. Learn more at rbigame.com. Rated E for everyone.
Who's in, who's out? Brought to you by In-N-Out Burger. Scott Alexander replaces Daniel Hudson, who start last 1 inning. He's pitched in all 3 games in this series, so the fact that he's able to even go today, give you that 1, 2, 3 inning is nice. And it's Alexander who, like Daniel Hudson, will now have pitched in all 3 games. Bell, Dickerson, Moran, the doo-ups for the Pirates in the second. Alexander, a third of an inning last night. He walked 1, gave up a hit. Both those runners came in to score. Good thing is, only threw 8 pitches. Ball and a strike on Bell. You know, before last night, during this run where the Dodgers are 14-5, 5 times the bullpen had to go at least 5 innings in a game, and they were 5-0 in those games. They've been beating the odds in situations like this. None more than that game in D.C. against Max Scherzer on a Saturday night where Rich Hill left after less than an inning, and they beat Scherzer.
I'm thinking on the offensive side, a lot of times the starting pitchers, you have the pitchers BP, the starters are going out there early. Dodgers are going to now have to start with a bullpen BP.
2-1. Bell swings and misses, 2-2. Josh Bell, who was 3rd in Rookie of the Year voting last year, trying to find it right now. Hitless in his last 15 ABs. '25-year-old in his 2nd full year now. Swings and misses, and is the first out of the 2nd.
Scott Alexander coming with a nice slider underneath the hands. Started off the middle of the plate, looked like a fastball. When he released it, bottom falls right out of it.
Corey Dickerson, whose .324 average ranks him 6th in the National League. Here in his first year in a Pirates uniform. Got him in a trade during spring training for Daniel Hudson. You might be saying, wait a minute, so Dickerson was a Dodger? Well, no, Daniel Hudson spent spring training with the Tampa Bay Rays before the Dodgers picked him up. And that's where Dickerson was the last couple of years. All-star there last year, hitting 27 home runs. Falls behind 0-2. But he's kind of changed his approach this year. It's not about the power anymore. He's trying to be a tough out. And the average showing it, .324. Shortened his leg kick during spring training. Started choking up more frequently. And you can see, chokes up as much as anybody you're going to see in the game these days.
And especially when he gets 2 strikes.
Some pain after fouling that ball off his foot. Dickerson is 29 now. It's in his 6th year. Dodgers saw a bunch of him his first few years in the majors when he was a Rocky. Alexander gets him, and the bat goes flying into the camera well. Hopefully everybody got out of the way down there. Looks like everybody's all right. 2 out.
Choked up so much, I think he choked up above the pine tar, so the bat slipped out of his hand.
Everybody's okay. Cameras are still working. Colin Moran comes up. Hitting .344 in his last 11 games. Another first-year Pirate, return on the Garrett Cole trade. 1 ball, no strikes.
Just so rare when you're saying, okay, second inning, 0 runs on the board, 2 outs, and you have somebody warming up in the bullpen. I mean, it's just what the Dodgers have had to do. Dave Roberts has had to do.
It's Pedro Baez. Been a weird 24 hours for him. 3 balls, no strikes on Moran. Was optioned to the minors before the game last night. Didn't make it out of town, so they're still with the team and able to be activated this morning with Tony Cingrani getting placed on the DL. That's a 4-pitch walk. The Pirates have their first base runner.
We talked about it yesterday. That's what really did the Dodgers in. Pittsburgh was able to get 11 runs on just 10 hits. And a lot of times you see, okay, if you have more runs than hits, you're thinking about them hitting a long ball, maybe hitting some home runs, guys on base, maybe walk a guy here and there. They didn't have any home runs yesterday.
No.
They just capitalized on the 11 walks that the Dodgers give up.
The 7-hitter and catcher Elias Diaz looks at strike 1. Now the Pirates in their previous 3 games had scored 2 runs total. They've been shut out in back-to-back games, and that included a game in St. Louis where they had no hits through 8 innings against Michael Wacha on Sunday afternoon. So 2 runs in a 3-game stretch, and then they explode for 11 last night. 1-1. A little more like the offense from April for these Pirates. They're one of the surprises across all of baseball with their hot start. Alexander's 1-1 is low. 2-1. Pretty tight zone so far from Roberto Ortiz.
That one didn't even miss by much. Diaz, that was such a good pitch, because if he happens to put that in play where that was located, most of the time that's going into the ground.
Just like that. Muncy cuts it off and feeds Valera at second. 2 scoreless innings for the bullpen. Roberto Clemente Bridge, the walk from the park back to downtown there. Brought to you by BMW. See a Southern California BMW Center today for exceptional offers or visit SoCalBMW.com. And by Jack in the Box. Try the $4.99 Jack's Spicy Chicken Club Combo with toasted sourdough. New from Jack in the Box. Jock Peterson's home run has the Dodgers in front of the Pirates 1-0 as this game goes to the third and Jameson Taillon gets ready to work again. 8-9-1 coming up for the Dodgers. Kike Hernandez to lead it off. Well, last May, Taillon, laying in his hotel room in Cincinnati, felt a bump that seemed out of the ordinary. And so he called his brother, who's a surgeon. That ball's lifted down the left field line for Hernandez. A long run for Dickerson, won't get there. And it bounces into the seats. A leadoff ground rule double. So anyways, Jameson calls his brother, describes what he has going on. His brother assures him that he shouldn't worry about it. Maybe get it looked at eventually, but the symptoms that he was describing didn't bother his brother. Again, he's in the medical field. Jameson does what a lot of us do. He hops on WebMD and starts to freak himself out. Had to start the next night and tried his best to put it out of his mind and just go about his business. But looking back on it, the people that know him best said they were watching on TV and could tell that he wasn't himself. There was something wrong. Alexander up there showing bunt, takes a strike. And Hernandez back in safely.
Looks like Hernandez slipped on the base a little bit.
2 days later, they come back to Pittsburgh after Taillon makes this start. And he has an ultrasound with the team doctor. Immediately knew something was wrong when he saw the ultrasound image show up on the screen. He had testicular cancer. Alexander with a nice bunt. Taillon throws low, but a nice dig at first by Harrison. Up to third goes Hernandez.
It was a great bunt by Scott Alexander, and I'll tell you, I don't think he realized how good it was when he first did it. He kind of jogged and, you know, to make sure, get the bunt down, wasn't worried about getting to first, got executed, but I think realized it after. See, it's kind of easy. Then he picks up speed and realized, wait a minute, there's a potential here, me maybe beating this out. If he was maybe running hard right out of it, might have been able to beat that out.
You're onto something with this relief pitcher BP.
That's
relief
it.
Pitcher bunting practice too.
I'm telling you.
Infield will come in for the Pirates. But Jock Peterson back up there. Hernandez at third and one out. Swings away at a fastball, comes up empty. So Taillon was in surgery 3 days after returning home to Pittsburgh and getting the testing. Actually was lined up to face the Dodgers. If you remember Taillon's name, there may be a reason for that. There was a pretty big story last year. He was at Dodger Stadium, or was supposed to be at Dodger Stadium for his next start when he got that news. Made a minor league rehab start 3 weeks after the surgery and was back on a big league mound just 1 month later. And at this point, a little more than a year after, is cancer free. Is 1-1. Sails on him. Ball two. Dodgers saw him after he returned last year and tagged him for 5 runs over 5 innings in this ballpark in August. Got him for 4 runs in 4 innings the year before. 3 balls, 1 strike. Popped up. That's a big second out for Jameson Taillon. Well, if you're just joining us, Dennis Santana scratched from this game while warming up. So Daniel Hudson made the start instead. Alana, you've got another update on him.
Well, Joe, Dave Roberts had told me that they could tell when Dennis Santana was throwing his slider that something wasn't quite right. So they decided at that point to make him a late scratch, and Daniel Hudson would make the start instead. Came out of the bullpen, went into the Dodgers training room, and apparently he's dealing with right lat soreness. That is why he was removed. Right lat soreness.
All right, strike one on Max Muncy.
You know, we were talking about that. There's more to it than originally just saying, okay, didn't like just the slider. And I knew there was going to be more coming out. And great job by Alana to finding out. But you're like, gosh, there's got to be something that's injured, and you're hoping it was not too bad. Obviously, right now you're hearing the soreness, and you hope that it's nothing more than just that, especially with all the injuries that the Dodgers have been dealing with.
And that's one of those things you don't hear a ton, but when you do, you kind of cringe for a pitcher. Lat injury.
You also just feel bad too for Dennis Santana. I mean, he's up here due to injuries and has an opportunity to go out there and impress and try to stay up here. And then in your first start in the major leagues, you end up hurting yourself in the bullpen.
Alex Reyes, who is one of the top pitching prospects in baseball, St. Louis Cardinals, he was just placed on the disabled list with a lat injury and has to have a tendon reattached. He's going to miss the whole season. Noah Syndergaard last year, New York Mets, he missed the entire year after 4 or 5 starts because of a lat injury. But of course, it'll depend on the degree of that injury, and we won't know that until the tests come back. Two to Muncy. Checked his swing, full count. Dodgers a great opportunity here in the third. They got a leadoff double from Hernandez. They got the successful sacrifice they were looking for from Alexander. Taillon trying to sneak his way out.
And he was able to get Jock Peterson to pop up. Made a good pitch on the inner half. Jock looked like he had the right approach. He was looking for a ball up in the zone to try to get in the air. He swung at a high fastball, but that's where his sights were, and he had a 3-1. The ball was up. It just jammed him and got in on him.
Muncy has reached an 11 straight after his 2-hit performance last night. As Hernandez at third with 2 gone and waits on another 3-2. Here comes. Just misses outside, and Roberto Ortiz continues with this very tight zone. First walk of the game issued by Taillon.
And the Pirates dugout kind of yelling at home plate umpire Ortiz. We look at PitchCast, it did have it just off the plate. He even gestured to them and just let them know it's a little bit off. Give him a hand gesture and say it's outside.
Ortiz, a very young umpire. Major league debut a couple years ago. First time at a long run in the majors last year. He's only 33. At the corners with 2 out, and Grandal's the hitter. Swinging bunt his first time, and now 1 for 6 in this series. One and oh. Grandal, one of 5 Dodgers with at least 8 home runs this year. Kemp and Bellinger leading the way with their 10. Grandal's tied with Muncy with 9, and then Chris Taylor has 8. 2 other teams in the National League that can say that. Diamondbacks and the Cubs, the others. On this 1-1 offering, Grandal swings with a runner moving and hits it foul, 1-2.
Muncy got a really good jump there on that pitch. Really interesting. Max Muncy, not known for his speed and not known for a guy to steal bases. Must have been something that he noticed when he was reading on Tyone.
Takes off again and trying to get caught in a rundown, but no throw.
That's what he was doing.
By the way, his first career stolen base.
Told you he wasn't known for stolen bases.
You weren't kidding.
He's probably going, that was easy. I should do that again.
What have I been waiting for? On the corner, strike 3. That's a spot Tyone has not gotten so far. Grandal, though, looks at strike 3, and the Dodgers waste an opportunity. On a glorious day here in Pittsburgh. It's beautiful. Joe Davis, Nomar Garciaparra, and this is going to be a heroic effort from the bullpen if they're able to get it done.
Well, the Dodgers definitely squandered an opportunity there, especially when they had a leadoff double and not being able to score the run there to actually help this bullpen that has to come in. And we're already seeing the 3rd pitcher for the Dodgers in just the 3rd inning.
It's Pedro Baez. Just a few hours ago was officially an Oklahoma City Dodger, but in Pittsburgh.
How'd he throw down there, do you know?
It was quick.
Like lights out.
Yeah.
I heard he was.
Yeah. Jordy Mercer, first at bat of this series for the usual everyday shortstop, but who's been under the weather, and so was a scratch in game 1 and then off yesterday. He's been good the last month or so, hitting above 300 after he hit 220 over the first month and a half. Up the middle, base hit into center. First hit of the day for Pittsburgh.
I guess with that hit, we're not going to see a combined no-hitter.
Got that out of the system already.
We are.
Jameson Taillon in a bunt situation.
Just hoping to see one in this country.
That's true. Monterrey, Mexico in early May. Combined no-hitter, first one in franchise history. Taillon deadens it in front of the plate. That's well done. Seen a couple good sacrifices this afternoon. Mercer into scoring position, and the top of the order will have a chance to tie it. Josh Harrison, who's 0 for 1 with a fly out to right. Dave Roberts said it was not an easy conversation with Pedro Baez yesterday, and that he did not handle it particularly well, but handled it how you'd expect. Guy who's stuck in the majors for a few years and got caught off guard by it.
Well, he said, he handled it like a pro, but was definitely upset, was understandably upset.
Harrison bunts it sharply to third. Muncy will eat it. Bunt hit for Josh Harrison. Got him cornered with one out.
Well, Muncy playing back on Harrison, especially thinking, well, there's a man in scoring position. He's going to be swinging the bat, try to knock the run in. Harrison lays down a nice bunt. And that was a smart play by Muncy, because you're already back. You know he has speed. Really had no play, and then just kind of following it to see if you can possibly get the runner taking a wide turn around third base.
And for the Pirates, isn't part of you thinking, man, Josh, you are way hotter right now than this guy or Marte?
And that's why, from the defensive side for the Dodgers, you're playing back. You're going, okay, they just sacrificed bunt to get a guy in scoring position, and you're going to at least try to get a couple of guys to try to have a shot at knocking them in.
Gregory Polanco with the first opportunity, spinning out of the way of ball one. With his fly out to right in the first inning, he's 6 for his last 44. And Starling Marte, who's on deck, is 4 for his last 23. Two good hitters, both due to break out, but struggling to find it right now. As the Pirates try to even the issue in the third. Tailing fastball, 1-1. Polanco lifts a fly ball to center field. Hernandez under it to make the catch. Comes up gunning. The throw to the plate, not in time, and it's tied at 1. With a throw going home, that allows Harrison to move into scoring position.
And for Kike Hernandez, he got behind it. We know he has a great arm and a strong arm. Just has to do a little bit better job of throwing that more on the line through the cutoff man to allow Cody Bellinger to at least make the decision to cut that off, and because he would have had to play at second base. Harrison read that well, was taking off to get over there to second base.
So back at square one. Tied at 1. Starling Marte with Harrison at second and 2 out. Looks at ball 1. Back-to-back hitters from Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. Polanco, then Marte. It was the Pirates' first product of the Dominican facility there to reach the majors. Muscles it foul. It's 1-1. Tried out for the Pirates when he was a teenager, and the scouts weren't really impressed with him. They told him thanks for coming, but not really interested. Showed up again at an open tryout soon after that, and that day scout said, why don't we try him in the outfield, because you just come as a shortstop the first time around, see what he can do out there. And right away he wowed them with the strength of his throwing arm. A few days later they had signed him to a contract. Major League debut 2012, homered on the first pitch that he saw. .28 years old now in his 7th big league season. Had a Baez 2-1, and now it's 2-2.
Ouch. Every time. You wear a shin guard, you can protect it, protect your ankle. The ball finds a way to get around that and hit you somewhere else. We saw that yesterday with the catcher with Cervelli. The ball found a way to hit him off the shoulder and then still get his chin behind the mask.
Two, full count. Jam shot to second, the Valera puts away, and that's that for the Pirates in the 3rd, but they've tied it. On the other side, Alana is going to visit live with Rick Honeycutt.
Want to discuss Dennis Santana for a moment. That right lat soreness, what were you noticing with him warming up in the pen?
Yeah, I mean, early on it looked like everything was fine. Near the end of his warm-ups, the 29th pitch that he warmed up, kind of felt probably something on his slider. It was the extension on his slider that seemed to be affecting him. So he just asked him where he was, and he just said, I got something underneath my lat, you know, underneath the armpit.
I'm certain that he'll have to go through some tests. Of course, everybody in your bullpen was used with the exception of Kenley Jansen last night. How much are you praying for stress-free, efficient innings from the guys in the pen that have had a heck of a workload?
Yeah, they've been definitely overworked and tested this whole road trip. So today we'll try to manage, you know, watch the pitch counts and guys are just going to have to pick each other up and go from there.
Is it your anticipation that after some tests you guys may have to make another move?
Well, we'll get through today and then we'll talk about it afterwards.
All right, appreciate your time, Rick. Thank you. All right, guys.
All right, Alana, thanks to Rick for spending a minute with us. Matt Kemp flies out on the first pitch of the 4th. Cody Bellinger takes ball 1 from Tyone. Stressful times down there with the way that Dave Roberts and Rick Honeycutt are having to manage the staff through these injuries. Especially with the domino effect of what happened yesterday with the starter Caleb Ferguson going just 1 2/3. And not just there, but really this entire road trip. Bullpen's been good for the most part, but long hours.
You're asking an awful lot out of the guys that come out of there. And been impressed how many guys have come out the last 3 days and pitched so far.
Bellinger to deep right center off the wall. He continues his hot streak with a double. Home runs in each of the first 2 games, and now a 2-bagger. The go-ahead run in scoring position.
Well, this one's a good sign for this base hit. We talked about the home run to center field. Not just where he hit this ball to right center, but I was looking at the location of the pitch. A lot of the troubles that Cody Bellinger's been having has been in that fastball that's been a belt high or just a little bit above belt high, where he's swinging underneath of that. And that ball was about belt high right there, and he was able to get the barrel to it. Those are the signs. This is what we were talking about when even Dave Robert was talking about Cody Bellinger. It was more than just pitch selection. When it was his struggles, and they were asking, and he said early on he thought it was pitch selection and the way guys were adjusting and pitching to him. But he recognized as of late that there were hittable pitches, fastballs that he was swinging and missing, where it was now mechanical as well.
Chris Taylor a chance here to put the Dodgers back in front. Strokes one up the middle that gets by a base hit. This will not score the run. Bellinger had to go back towards the bag to make sure that thing got through. First and third, 1 out.
And for Cody Bellinger, actually, that's a good read, because usually this one, when you're on second, where that ball is hit, you're able to take off right away and say, this is a base hit, I'm going to try to score. But you have to be aware of where everybody's playing behind you. He recognized that the second baseman was over, and he had to go back to make sure that it wasn't caught.
So Breivik Valera tries to do what the Dodgers couldn't do last inning, and that is take advantage of an opportunity. They had Hernandez aboard with a double to start the inning. Had him at third with 1 out. Peterson popped out, and Grandal struck out. 1 ball, no strikes.
Thinking here, it's like, okay, now you got, I was wondering, you got Chris Woodward coming down to talk to him. I was thinking with Breivik, looking at maybe, now after you talk to him, you don't think squeeze, but even a safety squeeze is something to think about, or if he thinks he can handle that ball or handle that bat.
Reminds me of the Little League World Series broadcast when they have the coaches mic'd up and you get to listen into the conversations. You know, there's often conversations between the hitter and the third base coach, who is usually the head coach. Lays a bunt down sharply. That's perfectly done. An RBI bunt single for Breivik Valera. Woodward just said, hey, why don't you make the perfect bunt by the pitcher in front of the second baseman and give us the lead.
I guarantee you that's why I said you weren't going to squeeze there. That's a safety squeeze, because you didn't have Bellinger breaking. But knowing that, okay, you got both corners, they were kind of playing at the bag. You had some space there. Just lay it down, and then Bellinger could read it. Bellinger, regardless if they even made that, even if he bunted it to first base right there, even if first baseman got it or the pitcher got it, even with the pitcher having to move to his left the way he did at the angle, if he got it and threw him out at first, they had no chance at Bellinger. It's a great bunt.
First and second, 1 out. Kike Hernandez. Healthy cut and a miss, 0-1. So well executed by the Dodgers. They've been so much better last few weeks with runners in scoring position. After they were one of the worst teams in baseball over the first month and a half or so. Two things really stood out about the offense as far as bottom of baseball in rankings. Runners in scoring position and home runs when things weren't going well. But they've completely flipped it around in both those categories. Hernandez ahead 2-1. They're even homering with people on base these days, which is a nice change.
Well, I've also seen better just approaches at home plate collectively early on. It seemed like a lot of guys were not just struggling, but pressing, trying to do too much, taking big swings. And they were also struggling a lot on situational hitting. It wasn't just a matter of looking for the long bar, hitting a home run. It was getting guys in from third, but less than 2 outs, moving runners over, doing the little things. They weren't doing that. When they started doing that, and you started having better at bats, consistent at bats, that's when the home runs come.
Overall, with this recent good stretch, they lead the National League in success rate getting runners home from third with less than 2 out. Hernandez just got a piece, says home plate umpire Roberto Ortiz. Runners will have to go back, but Kike stays alive.
I don't know. Going close. I mean, looking at the replay, it didn't look like Kike got a piece of that, and that's what they're asking there. But I'm sure home plate umpire was going off a sound, and Kike made a reaction right away, like he fouled it off.
Of course he did.
Well, sometimes batters don't necessarily just make that reaction, like it's almost delayed and after the fact.
That one was pretty believable.
That was pretty quick.
Yeah.
Not saying he fouled it, but I'm just saying.
Made us believe it. That back carved up there. So with a new piece of lumber, Kike trying to add on to this 2-1 lead, 4th inning. Dodgers looking for a 5-1 road trip. Flies it to right center field. Starling Marte settles under it. Hernandez the second out of the 4th.
It's up to Pedro Baez to knock him in.
Well, he had a converted shortstop scheduled to start the game.
Yeah, so in his first major league at bat, got bases loaded, gets a double to left field. Pedro Baez, former third baseman, so you can't just sleep on it. He'll swing the bat. All of a sudden, it brings back those memories when you convert as a position player to a pitcher. You're no longer allowed to put batting gloves on and swing a bat or a helmet. Then you get it, and you're like, oh, I remember what this feels like.
Not a bad looking swing. Taillon's pitch count up there already is 65th, and Baez lays off. Taillon, 26 years old. Reached AAA when he was 20 years old, 2013. Then missed 2 full years because of injury. Slowed his climb. Had Tommy John surgery, missed all of 2014 and into 15 for that. Then he had a hernia. Made his major league debut 2016, now in his 3rd year. Here comes with the 1-2. Baez flips it in the air in front of the dugout. Diaz gives it a look. It becomes a souvenir. Oh, never mind.
No, that's the net. The net.
Did it save it for him?
Yeah. Because he had the net over the dugout.
That's
he was
right.
able to didn't fall into the dugout, bounce right back to him.
E10. Did you see the young lady that caught a foul ball the other night in her beer and then proceeded to chug the beer?
How do you not if there's some left?
It was still full somehow.
Right.
I don't know how, physics there, but Baez swings and misses. The inning ends, but the Dodgers have retaken the lead on a base hit from Valera.
Join Team
Can't you almost smell them through your screen?
Yeah, they look really good. Getting me hungry. Put 2 of those patty, a double with cheese in between.
I like it.
Right?
No bun?
But those, yeah, I'll have the bun.
Okay.
Just make a real burger, and then you add the fries, and maybe some grilled onions, maybe over there on the side, and we're set.
Well, we are in Pittsburgh. You mentioned the fries. You can put those on your sandwich like Permeating Brothers, right?
Why not? Sure. The bun holds it together.
It does.
Yeah.
Middle part of the order against Pedro Baez. Third Dodger reliever of the game. If you happen to just be joining us, it's a weird one. Scheduled starter Dennis Santana scratched during his warm-ups. Daniel Hudson started the game 1-2-3 first. Alexander with a scoreless second. Baez allowing 1 in the third. Back out there for the fourth. Against the 25-year-old Josh Bell. Who can't lay off and falls behind 0-2. Bell, a second-round pick of the Pirates, 2011 at a high school in Texas. A record bonus for somebody after the first round. He was looked at by most teams like he was a sure thing to sign at the University of Texas. The Pirates paid him enough not to. And they also put together a big recruiting pitch like you see with college football players. They sent him videos and PowerPoints of what life would look like as a pro ball player. Very specific to each stop along the Pirates minor league system, and made the final decision less than 24 hours before the deadline. Said if a team wants me this much, has this much faith in me, I can't turn it down. Flies one to center field. That's where Kike Hernandez waits. And Bell, the first out of the 4th.
Well, fans, you can celebrate the Dodgers pinch hitting whiz Manny Mota on the Dodgers game on Saturday, June 9th versus the Braves. The first 40,000 fans in attendance will receive a Manny Mota bobblehead presented by Jack in the Box. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. Just thinking of that recruiting video.
Yeah.
So they were showing the bus trips. They were showing, listen here, as you're watching this, imagine yourself on the bus. Go ahead, put the clock on, sit for 10 hours, no stretching. And oh, by the way, here, we're going to stop off. And while you're watching this, go eat at Sonic as you go over there.
Ball one on Corey Dickerson. Right, have him visualize it. Close your eyes.
Yeah,
visualize
and here's the video. We're going to show you the clubhouse, and we're going to show you the hotels, the motels,
and now open your eyes.
Right.
The bus is pulled into a 7-Eleven. Go get yourself a Twinkie. This could be yours.
Not sure if that made the video. I'm going to bet it didn't.
Want to stretch your legs out while you sleep? Sorry. Did you ever, or have any teammates ever, that turn the overhead compartment on the bus into a bed? We're small enough to get up there and lay?
No, I've heard of it. I've seen it. We didn't have a bus that was conducive to doing so.
2-1.
So you were just sprawled out in your seat somehow, or try to curl up in a ball if you can get 2 seats. If you had more time than the other guys where you weren't doubled up in a seat.
But you didn't have more time than anybody in the minors.
So I was doubling up.
Yeah. That is a fair ball, and Dickerson out number 2.
You're embarrassed when you do that as a hitter. You're going, okay, when you just hit the ball and you're thinking it's foul, or it's just getting, it ends up going fair. See where just this ball, you're like, no, that's foul. And then you're like, no. And then you're embarrassed that you don't run. So it's just like one of those double whammy. It's the worst feeling. You're going, okay, I should be running there. Yeah, that was fair, and I didn't move, and I just made it easy for the catcher.
Not been too many of those this year for Corey Dickerson, who's really having a nice season. 2 gone. Baez trying to retire the heart of the order in order here in the 4th. Colin Moran lifts a fly ball to left center field. He's going to do just that in short order as Jack Peterson makes the catch. 2 innings for Pedro Baez. 2-1 lead for the Dodgers. Toyota's Red, White, and You sales event. Celebrate your independence with a great deal on a new Camry. The on-field host was talking before the game up on the video board and said that he thinks that this is the single nicest weather day of the year in Pittsburgh.
It is a beautiful day. As a player, when you look outside and you see these days, it gives you a little extra pep in your step, even though you're going, okay, it's a day game after a night game, but when you look out this beautiful ballpark and you see the weather, you're going, all right, I get to put on the short sleeves. Like, it's a good day for a ball game.
It was really cold last night. Jock Peterson, top of the order. I say really cold, but just unseasonably cold. Temperature dipped down into the 50s. You come here at the wrong time of year, you can melt the humidity. It's fouled off 1-1. Peterson started the scoring quickly in this game with a solo shot to lead the game off.
That's a ball right down the middle of a plate. It was a mistake. They wanted it in. It found the middle part of the plate. We talked about how much better he has been swinging the bat, and he will hit your mistakes.
Pokes this one by third. That's a base hit to left. Hustling out of the box, makes the turn. The throw from left, not in time. And a leadoff double for Jock Peterson.
The Dodgers had a leadoff double in the third and were unable to score Kike Hernandez. Now they get another leadoff double. Nice piece of hitting by Jock Peterson. Really impressed after you pull the ball for a home run to right field and then going the other way down the line, staying on the ball, not pulling off of it to get a double the other way. And when you have a bullpen day like this, really got to capitalize on these opportunities that you're given, especially runners in scoring position. Got to help the bullpen out as much as you can. Figure out ways to score these runs. Don't have to necessarily need that big inning. Figure out a way to try to just score one every inning.
Max Muncy walked his last time and has been aboard in 12 games in a row now. Muncy drives this ball to right center field. That's down for a base hit in front of Marte. Peterson didn't get a great read off of the bat, so he'll stop at third. They've got him cornered with nobody out.
Now, that wasn't a good read for Jock. That's one of those where, one, you got to recognize where the outfielders are. You know this ball's in the air and you've seen that, but I don't think he just read it off the bat too well. See him just kind of hesitate there.
He'll put his faith in the heart of the order with Grandal, Kemp, and Bellinger now due up. 2-1 fifth inning. Strike one. Next pitch will be the 75th for Tyone, who's given up 2 runs on 7 hits. Times this year he's been absolutely dominant and has looked like a guy that you'd figure would be drafted second overall. 1 pick after Bryce Harper, 1 pick ahead of Manny Machado. '10 draft. Harper and Machado about to get paid this offseason. Grandal's ahead 2-1. Grandal will be a free agent as well. First and third, nobody out. 2-1 pitch. Lifts it to left. Dickerson on the move, still coming. Unable to grab it. Boy, that's a tough play. Right against the corner there of that fence. Dangerous.
Good job by Jock Peterson. when he was ready to tag on this, but also not assuming anything too. He was taking off, waiting for the umpire to say foul. Well, you're going, okay, reading it. He was ready because he knows it's going to be a tough throw with him on the move, running hard. I think he's, you know, even when it's going near the line, you don't want to assume that it was just automatically foul and give up on it. But sometimes the umpire can call it, say, okay, he touched it fair, and just push that foul.
Tyone looking for a strikeout. He'll get it. Snapping off a breaking pitch for the first out of the 5th.
That was a big at bat for the Dodgers right there. We were just talking about opportunities, runners in scoring position, especially when you have a bullpen day. Nobody out, man on third. Just want to put the ball in play, try to figure out some way to get that at least one run in.
I got the best hitter in the National League with men in scoring position up there. Also happens to be the best hitter in the National League every other situation too. 0 for 2 so far today. I've seen that line too many times with him. Chases the first one.
For Matt Kemp, I look at that. Matt Kemp has been using the whole field. He's got a really big hole over there. First base, they're playing him over to pull. Second base over there. He's looking for a pitch up just to get a sacrifice fly. But it also tells you, a hitter, that I can stay with my approach to stay inside the ball and try to get it up.
The 1-1. Kemp cracks a roller left side. Moran cuts it off and gets the out at second, but that's all. And Kemp gets Peterson home from third to make it 3-1.
Good job by Matt Kemp. I mean, obviously, as a hitter, you want to do more. You want to get that ball at least in the air, maybe a sacrifice fly. But at the same time, gets that ball hustling down, just putting it in play. But not there. We can't afford a strikeout, but he puts it in play, and all recognizing that he has a chance beating this out to get that run in.
So a man on with 2 gone for Cody Bellinger. Really showing signs the last few days of coming to life. Home runs in each of the first 2 games, and then crushed a double to the wall his last time. Here he takes a breaking pitch for strike 1. Reigning Rookie of the Year.
Good swing on that one. He just missed that. Just didn't quite break enough. It breaks a little bit more. He was right on it. Watch this one. He's back. His weight was back. He was on it. Just gets underneath it.
Rolled foul. Now Bellinger this season, this offseason, was bulking season for him. Put on a bunch of weight. His favorite cheat day meal, Big Mac, was born here in Pittsburgh.
The Big Mac.
Big Mac was invented in Pittsburgh.
And they took it to McDonald's. Say, here's your Big Mac.
It was a franchisee running some McDonald's here. Came up with it. There's a Big Mac museum.
Have you been there?
Nope. Was busy that day. 1-2. Tyone hadn't had that outside corner go his way too many times today. Count evens up at 2-2. Big Mac came around in the year of the pitcher, 1968. Bellinger reaches out and flips one to beat the shift. Here comes a throw to third. It's not in time, and Bellinger takes advantage, advancing to second.
Good job by Matt Kemp to get to third, recognizing the shift. Bellinger doing a good job, just poking the ball the other way. Well, sometimes just putting it in play, good things will happen. Matt Kemp hustling, and also Cody Bellinger hustling too, recognizing, not assuming anything, that Matt Kemp was just going to stop on the single, but he too getting into scoring position with that play at third base.
First visit for Ray Searage. Dodgers 8 hits against Jamison Tyone, who's coming off a performance where he threw 8 shutout innings on just 3 hits against the Cardinals. Some action down in the Pirates bullpen. If relievers are your thing, today's your day. Dodgers starter Dennis Santana scratched during his warm-ups. It's been reported that he experienced tightness in his lat. So bullpen day for the Dodgers, and the bullpen, it appears, could get going sooner rather than later for the Pirates. With 2 out, Chris Taylor swings and misses. Oh, 0-2.
Good job fighting that ball off. I mean, this would be a really huge at bat for the Dodgers if Chris Taylor could find a way, get those 2 out RBIs. We always talk about how big 2 out RBIs are for your team, and they're so demoralizing to the opposing team. And really try to help this bullpen, where the bullpen guys come in and they don't just have to be perfect, that they can go out there and attack the strike zone if they're able to get 2 here.
Another foul ball.
It's a lot different. You coming in the bullpen when you have a 4-run lead. You're getting asked obviously to get outs. It's not the time where you also want to be starting off with base on balls, trying to be too fine, trying to paint the corners. Go out there and attack the hitters.
Three hits in the inning, 1 run in the bank. They've got Kemp at third and Bellinger at second, and another 0-2. Strike 3 caught in the corner, and that's it for the Dodgers in the 5th. Halfway home at the birthplace of the Big Mac. Dodgers up 3-1.
For you on ace Clayton Kershaw. Dave Roberts updating us earlier today, saying that Clayton has participated in some moderate strength stuff. That's the way that Dave Roberts put it. He's also been able to play catch. Basically, Clayton Kershaw had a good week last week as he's recovering from that lower back strain. As far as Kenta Maeda is concerned, Kenta Maeda has been able to throw off of the mound. He's also done long toss and continues with all of his running exercises. Dave Roberts said it's not likely, but it is a possibility that Kenta Maeda could rejoin this Dodgers rotation, perhaps in that Texas Rangers series next week, guys, after this upcoming weekend series. As far as Rich Hill is concerned, they have had the conversation perhaps of getting him back in the bullpen as they continue to build him up a little bit. He's certainly chomping at the bit to come back. It is in the conversation at this point.
Seems like everybody's going to have to be in the conversation the way that it's going. The bullpen pressed into the amount of duty that it is. Yimi Garcia, the latest to come in, and he delivers a strike to Elias Diaz.
With all the injuries that the Dodgers have had, I mean, it's a big update that you have. It's just been crazy.
So big weight on the shoulder of Walker Buehler tomorrow against an old Dodger, Brandon McCarthy. Game 1 against the Atlanta Braves, who bring in the best record in the National League East, tied with the Washington Nationals. So it's McCarthy and Buehler tomorrow. Saturday night it's Alex Wood against Anibal Sanchez. And then Sunday, Ross Stripling goes for the Dodgers against Sean Newcomb, who's had a great season for Atlanta. They're one of the true surprises in baseball this year. 36 and 26, some of the most talented young hitters in the game. Got 2 of the top 4 hitters as far as batting average. Freddie Freeman's hitting .338. Nick Markakis finding the fountain of youth. He's top 5 in the league as well. Ozzie Albies, their diminutive leadoff man, has 14 home runs, good for 3rd in the National League. Diaz finally puts one in play, and then left field Jock Peterson for the first out of the 5th. Dodgers 3, Pirates 1. Jordy Mercer, the hitter, with 1 gone in the 5th inning. Mercer from tiny Tologa, Oklahoma. About 300 people live there. Got a convenience store, a bank, a couple churches, and a grain elevator. That's the skyline. Strike 1. He had 7 people in his graduating class. Played baseball, played basketball, and then naturally his 3rd sport was showing hogs in the state fair. He was good at it, Nomar. State champion.
I wouldn't argue. Area I'm not familiar with.
Not a big Tologa guy?
I'm sorry. No, don't mean to. I just don't know too much.
Don't want to offend the people in Tologa, though.
No, I don't.
Catch by Taylor, 2 out. You know, our booth boss at home, Boyd Robertson, is an Oklahoma guy. (3-1) in the 5th. Here's Frazier. officially ends the day of Jamison Tyone, who, as it stands right now, is on the hook, allowing those 3 runs on 8 hits. Could have been worse, but he was able to pitch out of trouble several different occasions. Dodgers have left 6 men on. Ball 1. Frazier, 26 years old, went to Mississippi State. That's in there, 1-1. Garcia, the 4th Dodger pitcher of the day. Scoreless inning from Hudson. Scoreless inning from Alexander. Pedro Baez allowing 1 run over his 2 innings of work. And now Garcia looking for a 1-2-3 5th. He falls behind Frazier 3-1.
Something you didn't want to do, especially after you get the first 2 guys out. You have relatively 2 quick outs. You don't want to fall behind. You especially don't want to walk this guy. You want to go out there. You want to attack him.
Especially top of the order due next. Hard ground ball, base hit to right. And Josh Harrison will come up representing the tying run.
Well, he attacked him, but he got behind in the count, got a 3-1, so he really had to put it down the middle. It's exactly what he did. Frazier did not miss, found the hole. But you'd rather have him earn it rather than giving him a free pass.
Harrison 1 for 2. Strike 1, and to your previous point, strike 1, you know, it's an important thing, but when you follow the Dodgers' good and bad runs of getting strike 1, especially out of the bullpen, that'll pretty much lead you to the bottom line, good and bad. When they've gotten strike 1 at a high rate, they've produced good results overall. When it's been ball 1 frequently, overall numbers have been ugly. Call it the most important pitch in baseball for a reason.
Oh, I've known that for a long time. That's why I swung at it so much. Well, as I always said, I was ready for it. I mean, didn't need all the data and the stats to tell you that. You knew what they wanted. You would just ask great pitchers, what are you trying to do? I'm trying to get ahead. Like, oh, good concept.
And as a hitter, what are you looking for? A strike, right?
Oh.
Harrison gets hit. Second time he's gotten hit in this series. And visibly upset about it as that thing rides up and drills him. He got him right on the guard.
Sam upset. But I wonder if it missed the guard. He had the guard there, firing it. But like we said, they always find a way to miss it.
Josh missed a month earlier in the season with a broken hand, so you can understand where some of that frustration comes from. Rick Honeycutt for a visit with Polanco due next. Nothing new for Josh Harrison getting hit. He gets hit a lot.
You know, yeah, this is the second time he's been hit in this series. Yesterday when he got hit, that was against Caleb Ferguson, and that was on a breaking ball. Remember, he was ahead of him. He tries to throw a curveball, and he catches him. It's not like they're going, oh, we're trying to get in there or hit you. That was a breaking ball that gets away. That one was a ball that just tailed in, ran in.
Looks like he was trying to show where that hit him, which
I think it missed the.
Yeah, I'd say that's where
the padding, the elbow guard.
Polanco takes ball one. There's the lone RBI for the Pirates in this game on a sacrifice fly in the third inning. 6 for his last 44. Big swing and a miss, 1-1. Grew up in the Dominican Republic, admiring Manny Ramirez. Signed in 2009 when he was 16 years old. Most teams scouted him as a pitcher. Well, the Pirates took him as an outfielder and was very good in the minors, #1 prospect. Somewhat disappointing 5 years in the majors for him. Gets ahead 2-1. He's signed long term through 2021, then team options the following 2 years. So if the Pirates want, he'll be in a Pirates uniform into his 30s. Two on, two out, 2-1. Foul tipped into the mitt, 2-2. Seen him miss a lot of strikes with big swings in this series.
That was a perfect example right there. That's what we were talking about Cody Bellinger when he was having the struggle. Those were the pitches that were giving him trouble as well.
Full count. Runners to get a head start. Big deal here with a tying run at first base. Both runners good speed. Frazier at second, Harrison at first. Garcia to Polanco with a 3-2. He strikes him out. 96-mile-per-hour fastball, and the Pirates strand 2 here in the 5th.
Dodgers. follow the journey of rookie pitcher Dennis Santana from his days as a young prospect in the Dominican Summer League to his major league debut. Don't miss Backstage Dodgers, presented by Cadillac, Friday after the post-game show on Sportsnet LA. Well, the new pitcher for the Pirates is Tyler Glasnow, coming in with a 4.36 ERA. Pitched in the first game against these Dodgers. With 2 innings that one. Gave up 1 hit, gave up 1 run, gave up a home run.
Adam Frazier stays in, plays right field. Bottom of the order for the Dodgers, trying to add on to this 3-1 lead as we get going with the 6th inning. It's Breivik Valera. Takes up and in, ball 1. RBI bunt single his last time up. Perfectly executed. Two and 0.
Got the piece of home plate umpire, Little Ortiz. Got the glove of Diaz, but it didn't get much of the glove. If Diaz is trying to talk to Ortiz about, how does those corners look and try to see if he can talk his way into any pitches, that doesn't help.
No.
And he gets that one.
Better make it a good strike. Three and 1. Quiet day around baseball, at least around the National League. There's only 4 games going on. One of them, Colorado Rockies, playing the Cincinnati Reds as Valera starts his 6th inning with a walk. Rockies have a 4-2 lead in the 6th inning of that game. Started the day tied with the Diamondbacks, first place in the West. Dodgers, one of the 4 teams within 2 games of the lead in the division. Arizona and Colorado are tied for first. Giants a game and a half back. The Dodgers 2 back. Here's Hernandez swinging at the first pitch and spraying it foul. Now the division had a chance to bury the Dodgers with their rough run early. And Arizona went into that miserable slide to start the month of May. And they've been much better the last week or so, but Dodgers got hot first, climbed back into the equation. A log jam.
2 games back to say, yeah, we're sitting 4th.
Sky high with a very bright sky right now. Marte's got it spotted. 1 out. Pinch hitting in the pitcher's spot is Yasiel Puig. All 7 of those home runs coming since he came off of the DL last month. One of the top 5 on base plus sluggings in the National League in that time. 1-0.
Yasiel, every time he moves those feet, got the way of a pitch. Keeps moving them, keeps dancing.
He doesn't need much excuse to dance. You got a good one there. 2-0. Three balls, no strikes.
I'll tell you, Dave Roberts will give Yasiel Puig the green light on a 3-0 if he, especially the way he's been swinging it. Having faith in him that if you get the pitch you like, go ahead and let it go.
Didn't like it. Strike one.
Yasiel made the decision. He wasn't swinging on that one.
Swings at this one and hammers it to left center field. Yasiel Puig hits it off the wall. He's on his way to second. Valera scores all the way from first. A ringing double from Puig, and it's 4-1.
Yasiel Puig doesn't like the 3-0 pitch, but he likes the 3-1 pitch on the inner half. And he crushes his ball, watching it a little bit, but recognize you better run because that one goes off the wall, but it's good enough to knock in Valera from first base as we take a look at our Arco top tier play.
Brings up Jock Peterson, who's homered and doubled. Dodgers 4 runs on 9 hits. What a road trip it's been for this offense. 51 runs in the 6 games. Breaking pitch for strike one. Obviously aided somewhat by Coors Field, but regardless, got to put the bat on the ball, and they have. Almost 9 runs per game, and still a few innings to go in this one. Swings and misses on one that gets by Diaz. It allows Puig to advance.
Oh, well, the Dodgers still in the first game came in and they scored 5 runs in that first game. He scored 9 in the second. So the offense was there, swinging the bat. That's what they need. Especially as much as the bullpen has been throwing. We also touched on that. Look at these over the last 17, 18 games that the Dodgers have played and how well they've played. Talked about how many come from behind wins that they've had over the course of those wins, which have been a factor in the way they've been playing. But those come from behind are obviously the offense doing a lot better, and also a lot of credit to the bullpen too, keeping the games close so they can come back.
Squeezed by Diaz. Peterson out number 2. If they can win today, it'd be 15-5 over a 20-game stretch. On the heels of the 6-game losing streak, coming after they sat at 16-27. It felt like a really low point that day in Miami, where they dropped 4 in a row to the Reds, then the first 2 to the Marlins. Man at third, 2 out. Max Muncy takes a strike. Right now it looks like the turning point of the season. A doubleheader sweep in DC on a day where they beat Tanner Roark in the first game, then beat Max Scherzer that night on a day where Rich Hill didn't make it out of the first inning. It was the first opportunity for the bullpen to put the team on its back and carry it. There have been many others. Time and time again, they've been up to the challenge. Josh Fields will be the next man in. Last now is 0-2.
Chuckling at his antics, aren't you, over there at third base?
Yeah. Nothing that he does quietly.
You watch Yasiel, he's like reading it. Look at me. He was ready though.
Count evens. Still is. On a 2-2. Monty can't lay off. Sharp break to that one, and the inning is over. But the Dodgers have their fourth tin soldier of the day, fourth one-run inning, and they lead it 4-1. Four pitchers for the Dodgers today, all of them relievers, with Dennis Santana getting scratched prior to the game, and they've given up just one run.
They've looked really good, each and every one coming out of the bullpen. Not easy to do, especially as much as they've been throwing over the last 5 games. And Josh Fields, who also has thrown in each of the first 2 games of this series. Nothing for him though. Yesterday's game, he only threw 3 pitches.
Dave Roberts yearning for this thing to end. Walking that tightrope. So far, pushing all the right buttons. Heart of the order here, Marte, Bell, and Dickerson, with the Dodgers up 4-1. Pirates only have 3 hits today. The lone run scored back in the 3rd on a sac fly from Polanco. With the 0 of 2 so far, Marte 4 for his last 24. Shows bunt, takes a ball. Two and up. Three and 0. Got a high strike to get in the count, 3-1. Full count.
Good job by Josh Fields to get back into this count right here with this batter. We touched on it last time. You want your relievers to come in and throw strikes, and that's what makes it difficult when you have such a relief. Depending on your bullpen, each and every inning is hoping all of them are on that day.
Every new guy you bring in, it's another opportunity for a guy to have an off day. That's a kind of a glass half empty way to look at it, but
you don't have too many guys up there. You only have really one guy that I guess you would look at as your long reliever, and Brock Stewart threw a couple innings yesterday, but most of the guys in that bullpen haven't been known as long guys.
leadoff walk for Marte.
He also touched on it for yesterday's game that some of the downfall for the Dodgers was the amount of walks that the staff ended up throwing.
Josh Bell hitless in his last 17 at-bats. Switch hitter settles in left-handed against Fields. Misses for the first one. 8 pitches, only 2 strikes so far. As you mentioned, Fields pitching for the 3rd time in as many days in this series, leading the team in appearances this season. Downhill with a 1-0. Marte runs on another ball. The throw down from Grandal's not close. Falling behind both hitters. 3 balls, no strikes. Corey Dickerson waits on deck in a 4-1 game in the 6th. Got one by him, 3-1. Caught the corner, full count.
That was the same corner it seems like he's been trying to get over the course of this at bat against Josh Bell, and was just kept missing it just a hair.
Bell stays alive. Goodell and Paredes both getting ready. Down the left field line, that'll drop in for a base hit. Bell on his way to second with an RBI double. It's 4-2 and still nobody out.
Well, Josh Fields was, both batters got way behind on the batters, and it was an uphill battle for them, and get behind, and that one was up in the zone.
That's it for Fields. Didn't quite have it here in his third straight day pitching, and Dave Roberts will go to Edward Paredes.
See his numbers on the third at Arizona. This is the depth that Dave Roberts was talking about, saying they knew that with all the work the bullpen has had when they had to call up Caleb Ferguson, because they knew they were going to get some backup. And it was unfortunate that Singrani had to go on the DL. Now it'll be interesting, the moves that they're going to have to make after today, especially when they find out more information on Dennis Santana.
So Dave Roberts calls on the left-hander with a pair of left-handed hitters coming up here. Corey Dickerson, who actually has reverse splits as far as the average. All the power coming against right-handed pitching. But Dickerson and Moran both left-handed hitters. Paredes on to face him. Ball one. Paredes in Oklahoma City, 18 games, had an ERA at 2. Major league debut last year as a 30-year-old. Got some help from Dickerson there. It's 1-1. Josh Bell's RBI double as the Pirates one notch closer. Pirates trying to get their first series win in about a month. One and two.
Paredes making a good pitch on the breaking ball. The one before, he was helped out a little bit by Dickerson. The ball in the dirt. That one, same pitch, better spot, making it look a little bit different, setting his sights differently. And go back with the same one again.
Seen Dickerson all series really choke up with 2 strikes and be effective doing so. 5 for 10 this week. Here's a 1-2. Fouled off. What a day to be out on the river or in the ballpark, just outside period. .75 degrees, not a cloud in the sky. Boy, he somehow gets a piece of that pitch. Corey Dickerson has twice in his career doubled on pitches that bounce.
That one was pretty close to bouncing there, but chokes up. It's on the plate, just throwing the bat at it.
And living to see another day. Paredes with another 1-2. Got him. After a long battle, Paredes sits him down in the 8th pitch, 1 out.
Good job by Grandal holding on to that ball too, especially on a breaking ball. A lot of times when we heard him foul it off, those are usually the tougher ones to catch. Foul tip on a breaking ball.
And after Paredes gets Dickerson, Dave Roberts going to go back into the bullpen for Colin Moran in a 4-2 game in the 6th. Joe Davis, Nomar Garciaparra, Alana Rizzo, and Eric Goodell with a man at 2nd and 1 out.
When you have a game when you have the bullpen having to come in and start the game, especially when your starter gets scratched before the game starts, and you have a bullpen that has pitched an awful lot, Dave Roberts electing to put some pressure on his bullpen in these later innings. This is the third pitcher of the 6th inning. And you only got a couple guys left in the bullpen. Brock Stewart, Kenley Jansen. You're really asking these guys to see. It's going to be interesting in which guys he's hoping to go at least a couple innings.
David Freese pinch hitting. Goodell's first pitch of the day is a strike. Check swing foul, 0-2. Goodell's pitched in 9 games in a Dodger uniform, still has not been charged with a run. And a Mets team that granted him free agency after last season would love to have him right now, the way their bullpen is struggling. Started the season with the Seattle Mariners, claimed off waivers by the Dodgers in mid-May. Right around the time that this good run started. Joined the team in D.C. You mentioned it, just 2 options left for Dave Roberts, Kenley Jansen and Brock Stewart. And 3 2/3 to cover between those 2 and Goodell. You just hope and pray you don't get extra innings. One, two.
Also looking at what he has. Last time the Dodgers, earlier in this year, they went in extra innings and he went through his bullpen. And it was looking like if it kept going, they might have to use a position player to possibly pitch. Back then he says, I was thinking about Yasiel Puig going in there. Well, Yasiel Puig's pinched hit. He's out of the game. So then you start looking and say, okay, who could possibly be, if they need it, that position player come in and pitch for them?
Well, a few weeks ago, Kike Hernandez was lined up to be that guy. Goodell's 3-2. Freese helps him out, but it's going to be a tough play. No play. Infield single for David Freese, and the Pirates have the tying run on here.
That was, excuse me, I hit that. Excuse me, base hit. Just good placement. With that check swing, you're like, oh no, it hit my bat. And then you're saying, oh yes, as it gets by the pitcher, you're in there easily.
Elias Diaz. Strike one. Diaz, the catcher, backup catcher to Francisco Cervelli, got off to a great start this year. In fact, hit .484 in April. And more ABs than you typically expect from your backup catcher. But a $125 since then. First and third, one out. 4-2 game in the 6th. Then on an 0-1 pitch, yanks one to left field. That is caught by Jock Peterson. Bell will score 4-3.
Diaz does a good job getting that ball up in the zone and staying back on that breaking ball to get that sacrifice fly. The Pirates this inning have done the little things to produce a couple of runs. Capitalizing on a leadoff walk. Josh Fields coming in and having a little trouble finding the strike zone. They capitalized on that.
Jordy Mercer takes a strike. Rubber match of this series. Dodgers 5-0 in the opener. Pirates 11-9 last night. And what has turned into a bullpen game. It's 4-3 Dodgers in the 6th. Strike 2. Goodell, the 7th pitcher of the day for the Dodgers, the 3rd one in this inning alone. Both runs in this inning, by the way, charged to Josh Fields. Faced 2 batters, gave up a hit and a walk. Flip to right. Kemp is there. And mercifully, the 6th inning comes to an end. Pirates get a couple, or get one, and it's 4-3. In town, and when the game finishes, you can enjoy Friday night fireworks set to an LGBT night mix presented by Denny's. Go to Dodgers.com/promotions to get your tickets. David Freese stays in. He'll play 3rd base, checking that sun, which is very bright at this point on a perfect day for baseball. Tyler Glasnow stays in and delivers ball 1 to Yasmani Grandal. Glasnow was all over the place to open up his 1st inning of work, but wound up finding it to strike out Peterson and Muncy. And Strand Puig gets 2nd. Two and 0. Healthy rip and a miss. 97 on the fastball from Glasnow, and it's 2-1. Hard hit to second, cut off by Josh Harrison, and Grandal the first out. Mentioned when Glasnow pitched the first game of this series. He's a Southern California guy, Santa Clarita, went to Hart High School. They're from a very successful family. His father, Greg, started his own business when he was 18. That same business still going today, Hardwood Flooring Company. His mom, a college gymnast at one point. She won a national championship as a head gymnastics coach. Cal State Northridge. Goes to work against Matt Kemp. Ball one. He's got a brother who is a decathlete at Notre Dame. Not just that, but graduated with 2 degrees from Notre Dame, political science and in the liberal studies program. Now a GM of a startup company in Washington, D.C. That is some family.
Tyler, what have you done? Oh, you throw 98 in the big leagues. Got it. Okay.
Okay, you can stay. His 2-0. Kemp swats it to first by Bell. Now Kemp with a 1-out single. His first hit of the day.
That was the area I was talking about Matt Kemp's last at bat. You know, he had a runner on first base. They were holding him on. The second baseman was playing way over. And I was like, there was a big hole over there. And I said, I know Matt Kemp can stay inside the ball, hit that hole, because he's been using all fields. Showed it right there. Nice hit.
He's aboard for Cody Bellinger. He takes a strike.
When Glasnow came in the first game of this series, and we talked about he gave up 1 hit. That hit was a home run. It was against Cody Bellinger.
Followed it up with another homer yesterday and a 2-hit day today. His knees buckled there, but it missed low. 1-1. Doubled off the wall, came in to score, and then he flipped a single against the shift to left. 1-2. Bellinger goes the other way with a high drive back towards the wall. He's gone opposite field, a 2-run shot. 3 games in Pittsburgh and 3 home runs for Cody Bellinger. 1 to right, 1 to center, and now 1 to left.
There he goes.
We were talking about showing signs of swinging the bat a lot better, staying on the ball. That one away. I talked about his first home run here in center field, which I thought was a great sign. Then he pulls one on the off speed to right field, and that one off speed and still staying back on it and going the other way.
Team leading 11th of the season and some much needed breathing room for the Dodgers. Two balls, no strikes on Chris Taylor.
That was a really, really big home run for the Dodgers right now. We're talking about using 3 pitchers in just that last inning alone, putting the pressure on the bullpen, and then slowly the Pirates made it just a 1-run game. And then you come back the next and put 2 on the board. It was huge.
Taylor flies out to center, 2 gone. Breivik Valera. RBI bunt hit and a walk. Takes ball one. His walk was the first batter, Tyler Glasnow, who has walked one, giving up a double, a single, and a homer. 3 runs charged to the righty. Valera on the ground to second. Josh Harrison's got it, and the inning is over. But the Dodgers get 2 in loud fashion as Cody Bellinger launches a home run to the opposite field.
I've never seen that and would love to be on it.
Can I come?
Yeah, you're invited.
Checking how long these microphone cables are. I think we may be in trouble.
See, can the monitor reach?
Frazier starts the inning, takes ball one from Eric Adele.
Do an inning out there in the Tiki Hut.
If we get to go hang out there, we don't need a monitor.
That really is taking in the whole city right there.
I know when I think Pittsburgh, I think Tiki Huts.
Yep, on the river.
Well, just to reset things here, Dennis Santana, the planned starter for the Dodgers today, was scratched during his pre-start bullpen a few minutes before the game. And so it has been all hands on deck. Eric Adele is the 7th pitcher used. Only Brock Stewart and Kenley Jansen still remain. Goodell to Frazier with a 1-2 pitch. Dodgers trying to finish off a 5-1 road trip. Trying to go to 15-5 in their last 20 games. Best in baseball. And an opportunity to get to within a game and a half first place, depending on the outcome of the Rockies game today. On 2-2. Frazier rolls one to short. Chris Taylor stabs it, throws it, 1 out. Well, you'd love to have Goodell go an inning and a third, inning and 2/3 here, and
at the very least. And the key is pitching to that contact, getting ground balls such as that one.
Top of the order now. I think it's at the point now, almost a month with the team for Goodell. I'd start to say what a nice pickup this has been.
You can definitely say that. And you can say that especially with how much the bullpen has been used and how effective he's been.
Base hit for Harrison past the diving Taylor.
As he gives up a hit.
Yeah, our bad. Austin Meadows to pinch hit here. A rookie that has had a huge start to his major league career. Came up on May 18th. And there were enough days left in the month at that point for him to win Rookie of the Month.
Don't know where that pitch was, but it looked like a really good low strike for Goodell. Stay there. You're looking for that ground ball, possible double play. That was a good pitch.
Two and 0. Ball 3. 22 pitches now for Goodell, who came on last inning. Brock Stewart has started to warm in the Dodger bullpen. Again, he and Jansen, the only relievers left for Dave Roberts. 3-1. Three and 2. Well, Meadows, one of the reasons why the Pirates felt okay with trading Andrew McCutchen away. McCutchen, somebody who put his arm around Meadows as soon as he was drafted in the first round in 2013. Austin came up here with his family after that draft and met Andrew. Spent a lot of time with him. A flare to left field, and Jock Peterson for out number 2. Said that Andrew's biggest advice was to trust the process as you're grinding your way through the minors. Sure enough, 10 days later, it started his pro career. He was in front of the empty bleachers in the Gulf Coast League after all the hoopla that comes with getting drafted in the first round, and quickly back down to earth and with everybody else. But here he is, debuting 5 years later.
Is that also on the video for Josh Bell?
I was thinking that too, yeah.
the
recruiting video, how great the minors are.
Yeah.
Rick Honeycutt for a visit in front of the Marte AB. Marte walked his last time, stole second, score on the Bell double. Goodell trying to get this thing into the 8th with a 6-3 lead. His pitch cut on and missed, strike 1. If the Dodgers win this game, it'll be the 6th time in 7 tries where they've gotten at least 5 innings from the bullpen and won. That's just in the last 20 games. Strike 2 on the corner.
Well, we've been talking about the turnaround the Dodgers have had over the last 20 games. It's been a combination of both the bullpen and the offense. And you said, you talked to Dave Roberts. He says if we have 2 of 3 things going: starting pitching, bullpen, good hitting. We have 2 of those 3 going. He likes his chances. Most likely or not, you're going to win some ball games. And they've had 2 of those at the very least going.
Yeah, look at just this series. I mean, they had all 3 clicking in the first game and won. Had just the offense yesterday and lost. So far in this one, they've got the offense. Definitely no starting pitching because there wasn't one. And the bullpen's been up to the challenge. So 2 of the 3 clicking and a 6-3 lead in the 7th as they try to win this finale. Goodell's 1-2. Marte stays alive. Two and two. His 32 pitches, the most that Goodell has thrown in a Dodger uniform. Through 46. And his last game with the Mariners on May 15th. But he hadn't yet thrown 30 as a Dodger. Digging deep. His 33rd is another 2-2 to Marte. And it's another foul ball.
We were saying it'd be nice if he went an inning in 2/3, but the Pirates are making it difficult on him. Keep fouling the ball off, getting that pitch count up.
One way or another, this is going to be his final batter. Is Dave Roberts going to have to go to Brock Stewart here or worry about it in the 8th? Count goes full on Marte. Three, 2. He got him. Marte guessing wrong, and Goodell snapped off a curve to finish him off. On to the 8th, 6-3. Sportsnet Dodgers, presented by your Southern California Ford dealers.
So, Joe, before the game, both these guys called their shots. Jerry said Cody Bellinger was going deep. Ned Colletti said Jock was also going to go deep. Bullpen's got to get it to the finish line, though, now, Jerry.
The bullpen has been great, and like you mentioned, John, Cody Pop, big fly.
All right, these two guys will break it down. Alana has reaction from the clubhouse. Stay with us.
All right, guys, Michael Feliz, and so the Dodgers will now have seen all three pieces that came back in the Garrett Cole trade. So Joe Musgrove, the starting pitcher in the first game of this series. Colin Moran has started all three games at third, and Feliz the other guy that came over. 8-9-1. Kike Hernandez to lead the inning off. Drills the first pitch to straightaway left field, and Meadows or Dickerson makes the catch. One pitch, one out.
Unlucky for Kike. Jumped on that first pitch fastball, got a good pitch to hit, squared it up. Just bad aim, that's all.
Logan Forsythe, pinch hitting for Eric Goodell. And how about the work from Eric Goodell? Most pitches he's thrown in a Dodger uniform, and works 1 2/3 to bridge it to the 8th.
He did a great job, really did. Came in throwing strikes. Especially after that one inning where they had to go through 3 pitchers. Josh Fields struggling to throw strikes that inning. Paredes did his job. And covering, we were talking about it after going 3 pitchers in that one inning. Putting a lot of pressure on that bullpen for guys that have to throw multiple innings and get some outs. And he did his job.
Looks like potentially 2 full innings from Kenley Jansen. Yeah. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Two and two. Full count. Forsythe takes the walk. So runner out with the top of the order coming up against Feliz. Jock Peterson's continued his hot hitting today. Started the game with a solo home run and then doubled and scored in the 5th. High fly ball to deep center field. Marte's back, and Peterson with a 2-home run day. Attacks the first pitch and sends a home run to straightaway center. Fifth of the road trip for Jock Peterson.
Can I say he's feeling it? I mean, I'm going to go out on a limb, be Captain Obvious. Of course, he's been swinging the bat just great. Like I said, then taking it back right up the middle. I told you, when I look at today's game, he pulls a home run to right, and then his double go down the left field line. So he's staying on it. And then now taking a pitch right back up the middle and driving it. That is using all the fields. That is something to go back and remind yourself that it's not just one area you can hit the ball. It's not always just trying to pull the ball. It's staying on it and driving the ball everywhere. Good call by Ned. back at the studio.
Yeah. Did he call 2 of them?
I'll just say he did.
Fair enough. Muncy hits one on the ground. 2 out. So the Dodgers with another 3 home run game. It's the 5th out of the 6 games on this road trip. We didn't mention it yesterday, but the 4 games in a row with 3 homers to start the trip, that's a franchise record. Had they hit 3 homers yesterday, would have stood alone. As it is, ties the franchise record. As Grandal looks at a strike.
I don't think anybody told them that's why. And they probably said, listen, well, let's just save it for today.
Right, yeah.
You
somebody
know, knowing that sun was going to be out, it was going to be a gorgeous day.
We should have went down there and let him know.
Yeah, our fault.
Grandal 0 for 4 and 1 for 9 in this series. Good change up, 1 and 2. Well, it's definitely in a spot now where, like you were talking about, you get some more insurance. Whoever comes out of the pen can just attack. And with the lead expanded to 5, it'll be Brock Stewart instead of Kenley Jansen. Ground ball to first. Bell bobbles, recovers, and feeds Feliz. And the inning is over. Jock Peterson's 2nd home run of the afternoon. The exclamation on a 3-hit day for Jock and an 8-3 lead for the Dodgers.
When the rival Giants come to town for a 3-game series, the first 40,000 fans in attendance will receive a Kenley Calrissian Star Wars bobblehead presented by Pirelli. Visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
Brock Stewart for the 8th inning. The Dodgers in front 8-3. 8th Dodger pitcher used today. Only one left down there is Kenley Jansen.
We saw him warming up in between innings after that home run by Jock Peterson. Dave Roberts changing it, going with Brock Stewart. Brock Stewart threw yesterday as well. Came into the game. He had 25 pitches yesterday.
Heart of the order here, Bell, Dickerson, and Moran. Strike one. Bell's RBI double his last time, snapped an 0 for 17 slide. Stewart attacking and ahead 0-2. Dodgers hit the road after this one, head back home. Get into Los Angeles tonight, welcoming the Atlanta Braves tomorrow. Smacked to short. Chris Taylor waits, and Josh Bell the first out of the 8th inning. They'll play 3 with the Atlanta Braves. They'll play 2 with the Texas Rangers, and then the Giants come in. The Giants are part of that logjam at the top of the National League West standings, where the Diamondbacks and the Rockies are tied for first. The Giants a game and a half out. The Dodgers 2 games out. Corey Dickerson, a rare 0 for 3 for him. This score holds. This would be a 5-1 road trip. Talk about trying to win series at home and play 500 ball on the road. 5-1 trip would qualify as exceptional.
We talked about it right before the game when we had our open. I said it's been a good road trip, regardless of the outcome. It's been a good one. They have a chance to really just make it a great one.
Better record on the road than at home this year. So dominant at Dodger Stadium a year ago. And signs of recapturing that the last homestand. Stewart to Dickerson 0-2. That's ball 1. Texas Rangers, by the way, last place in the American League West at 27-37. Dodgers will play them 4 times this year. 2-game series on this homestand, and then a 2-game road trip in August. Literally a 2-game road trip, not just a 2-game series on the road. They go to Texas for 2 and come back home. Dickerson with a base hit to left.
Dickerson extends his hitting streak to 7 games. We were talking about rare 0 for 3 the way he's been swinging the bat. Well, he figures out a way.
And gets David Freese up there. 8-3 Dodgers, 8th inning. Single runs today in the 1st, the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th, and then 2-run innings in the 7th and the 8th. Talk about distributing your production. 2 innings today where the Pirates have put up a 0. None of these pitchers will be sad to have the day with Roberto Ortiz behind the plate end. Ball and a strike.
The Dodgers haven't had a pitcher in there long enough to really complain over numerous. They've just been changing it up.
Two and one. Two and two. By the way, Cody Bellinger due up in the 9th inning for the Dodgers second. And has a single, a double, and a homer today. So triple shy of the cycle. Something that he accomplished as a rookie last year. On the ground to third and off of Muncy. Taylor's throw not in time.
Well, Taylor tried to help out his third baseman, as Muncy would tell you, he needs to make this play. It's a ball that he should have, would have been a potential double play ball. But unfortunately, sure it goes down as an error, E5. Now he's looking for another ground ball, possibly double play.
Yeah, Diaz is a good candidate for that. Strike at the knees. Home plate umpire Roberto Ortiz, very distinct strike call. It's the first time Dodgers have had him behind the plate this year. Very distinct bark of strike. Nothing in 2.
Nice stop by Yasmani Grandal. Good job getting that body in front of that one, keeping the double play in order. Two on, one out, 8th inning. And Stewart to Diaz with another 1-2 pitch. Driven down the line towards the pole. Gone. A 3-run home run, and things just got a lot more interesting. Brock Stewart kept trying to put him away, couldn't find that one pitch to put him away, but he finds one right in his wheelhouse, doesn't miss it, and just keeps it fair.
Dave Roberts not going to waste any time. Kenley Jansen's coming in with the Pirates back to within 2. last 20 and a third on an 8-6 game, trying to save it.
And it's gonna take 5 outs in order to do so.
Jordy Mercer, strike one. Justin Turner's in the game at third. Brock Stewart's probably thinking, had Justin Turner been at third a few batters ago, he's probably out of that. But the Muncie error, now what should have been a double play ball to finish the inning, leaves the door open. The Pirates step right through it. 0-2. Jansen makes quick work of him. 2 out.
Just attacking him with the cutter. Great placement, wanting that cutter up in the zone. It's exactly where he puts it. Did a great job moving that cutter around in the previous 2 pitches as well.
2 out, bases empty, and Adam Frazier, the hitter. Kenley Jansen would love to face the top of the order with a clean inning in the 9th. Frazier hacks the first one foul. Pirates 1 in the 3rd, 2 in the 6th, 3 here in the 8th on the home run from Diaz. Off Brock Stewart. My gosh, how big does the Jock Peterson 2-run home run look now? Without that, this would be a tie game. Two and one. Lined is short, caught by Taylor. Pirates get back in it with a Diaz home run. Cody Bellinger due up second next inning. He's got a chance for the cycle if he can come up with a triple. Trying to win this series and go 5-1 on this road trip. Well, we've already seen how important insurance is in this game. Right part of the order to try and collect a little more.
We were talking about that earlier in the game, about having to capitalize on the opportunities, runners in scoring position. You just can't sit back, especially when you know it's a bullpen day. Try to relieve some of the pressure on them so they didn't have to be perfect. And we can tell how big that has been. They've done it with the long ball. They've done it with guys getting on base early in the inning.
Kemp 1 for 4. Single, an RBI, and a run scored. And ahead of Feliz 2-1. Two balls, two strikes. Bellinger's going to come to the plate in the same situation that he wound up successfully getting the cycle last year in Miami. That is needing a triple. This ballpark, when you're thinking about chances of him getting a triple, it's right about middle of the pack in baseball, how many triples this place produces. Dodger Stadium, in case you're wondering, out of the 30 parks, 29th. And the number of triples. Only Yankee Stadium has fewer. That'd be the spot that would come to mind, right? That triangle out in left center.
Yeah, with Cody's speed, he can also do it in right center.
Yeah.
But yeah, that definitely, that triangle out there in left center.
Bellinger this year has 3 triples. Kemp making Feliz work starting this 9th inning, and he's worked the count full. Can't lay off, and he's the first out. So here he comes with a strikeout in the 2nd, double in the 4th, single in the 5th, and a home run in the 7th. Needing a triple for his 2nd cycle in as many years in the majors. And when a guy comes up a triple short of the cycle, that's still a long ways from the cycle, but that was the case last year too. Remember, last year he did it on the very first pitch.
Remember, there was also Stanton coming to get that ball, and it looked like he might have had a beat on it, and it just went right over his head, and you're like, oh, he's got it.
And an 0-2 hole.
Now you find yourself with 2 strikes, then you're saying, okay, now it's not about pulling it in that right center gap, just stay on it. I already have a home run to the opposite way. I'm sorry, just stay on it and go to left center. Think of Jock Peterson's home.
Two balls and 2 strikes. Feliz pitches, and Bellinger slaps it foul.
It's kind of the swing he had when he got his double.
No, you're thinking of his single down the line.
Single down the left.
Yeah.
I'll be over here.
Long day. He's worked the count full. Bellinger in this series 5 of 11. 3 home runs, a double, 2 walks. Stays alive again. Payoff, and he walks. So doesn't get a chance at the cycle, but does reach for the 4th time today.
And having a really good day. 3 for 4. Just even that walk right there. Just some of the balls that he fouled off. Even the pitch before that, ball 4. All good signs for Cody Bellinger, because those were some that he was still just missing. He wasn't even able to fight balls off to stay in counts. So all really good signs.
With 1 out, it's Taylor, who's 1 for 4 today and 2 for 11 in this series. Strike 1. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 9th for the Pirates. Top of the order coming up, so it will not be easy for Kenley Jansen. 3 outs away from a full bullpen day, getting the job done thanks to a bunch of offense. This is by far the most pitches that Feliz has thrown. Bellinger takes off on a fly ball to right field. He can't find it, now does. That's an out, and then dropped it on the transfer. But the drop allows Bellinger to get back in there safely. 2 gone.
Yep, knew Frazier recognized that he had a possible double play there. Usually you take your eye off of it once before you catch the ball and possibly miss it, but he caught it and just couldn't get the exchange.
Breivik Valera looks at ball 1. Two and one. Valera whips a base hit into right center. That's going to send Bellinger to third. Valera is headed for second, and he's out. Saw the juggle out there from Frazier, but he recovered in time to throw him out, and that does it for the Dodgers in the ninth. Kenley Jansen trying to close out an 8-6 win. With a 2-home run afternoon, that makes 5 home runs in the 6 games on this trip, Nomar.
You gave it to Jock? I mean, with the 3 RBIs, the 2, okay. I mean, but you could argue you had Cody Bellinger having a great day, but Jock well deserving of it. And you could also, you could say players, the bullpen having to do what they've done so far in this game, and hopefully now Kenley can close it out. But way to help him out, Jock.
Won't be easy, as we mentioned. Top of the order, Harrison, Polanco, Marte. He gets strike 1. Harrison 2 singles today. 5 hits on the series after he had slumped a little bit coming in. Fades inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Long homestand opening tomorrow. The Atlanta Braves in town, then the Texas Rangers for a couple, and the San Francisco Giants. Ground ball to short. Chris Taylor and Josh Harrison the first out. Francisco Cervelli to pinch hit here. Catcher having a career year, trying to get the table set for Marte. Try to get the tying run to the plate. But facing a guy who's hitting finally his midseason form in Kenley Jansen.
Got to appreciate the effort for the Let's Go Bucks chant.
They are going in, aren't they?
He was trying to get it started last inning.
Any better luck
And
then?
No. They're actually a little bit more right now.
Well, the Pirates are good. There's some very good atmospheres here. That's a sad Pirate.
I think he's going to hit the tiki boat, the tiki hut out in the rafter.
If I was that Pirate, I would. Cervelli hits a high drive to deep left field. Peterson back. It's gone, and it's a 1-run game.
Well, he wants it the high cutter. It does not get high. It goes right down the middle, and Kenley Jansen knew it. And when you have a guy who's swinging as well as Cervelli has been all year, he is not going to miss a mistake.
Marte swings and misses, strike 1. Pirates not done yet, scoring 4 in a row in the 8th and the 9th off home runs from their 2 catchers. Elias Diaz with a 3-run homer, and then Cervelli with a solo shot. Marte behind 0-2. Ball 1. After Marte, to be Josh Bell. Both guys that have home run power. So Kenley Jansen having to be careful with a tying run up there. On a 1-2 pitch, Marte rolls one softly to short. Taylor charges. 2 gone. It's like they never left Coors Field the way these last two have gone. Wacky games. 11-9 Pirates last night. It's 8-7 here, and Kenley Jansen an out away. It's up to Josh Bell. 27 home runs a year ago when he finished third in Rookie of the Year voting. Teams have kept him in the yard this year, only 4 long balls. He takes strike one. Oh, and 2. Checks his swing and got a piece of that bat. It remains no balls, 2 strikes on Bell. Jansen looking for one more strike. One and 2. That's it. The Dodgers with a 5-1 road trip, and they are 15-5 over their last 20.
Just a tremendous road trip by the Los Angeles Dodgers. Tremendous game here after your starter gets hurt while throwing his bullpen, preparing for the game. The bullpen once again has to go out there. Great effort, and the offense picking up that bullpen, putting up an 8 spot.
So the Dodgers hang on by 1 for Nomar Garciaparra, Lana Rizzo, and the rest of our crew. Joe Davis saying so long from Pittsburgh. Access Sportsnet Dodgers begins now.